I received this in the mail just the other day for review. This is a Trustfire light. Now, this is one of those lights that you see on Amazon. There's tons of them out there. They're usually made by no-name brands. There's a ton of them. You see them on Amazon. You see them on eBay. About anywhere from 20 to 60 to 80 bucks. This one's sitting right around the $40 to $50 range. This particular light, they came and contacted me via email and said, hey, you want to look at our light? And I said, you know what? Sure, why not? The reason I do these reviews on this cheap stuff and why I say, yeah, I'll review it, it's for one reason, because people buy this stuff. I know I've said this before. There is, if you're going to say, all right, we need recommendations from you on hardcore self-defense or field items, there's only going to be a few brands that I'm going to say. It's going to be like Surefire, Streamlight, and whatnot in regards to lights. But there's a lot of people out there, they're not using their guns for super hardcore use. They don't have the money to do so. They don't have the inclination to do so. So I feel that, all right, let me talk about some of these cheaper lights just so that way people have an idea on what they're getting into. So that's why I do this stuff on these real kind of cheap, no-name type lights. So this one, Trustfire, it's the model GM35. I have it here on a Taurus G3, just so that way you can see what it looks like mounted onto a decent-sized gun. First off, application. Light to moderate use, home defense, perfect. If you're looking to just buy a light, throw it on a gun, on something maybe you shoot once a month, something that you just do basic practice with, sure, why not? Any hard use, I would save up a little bit more money and get something a little bit better. But overall, basic use is fine. Airsoft, I think this would excel at airsoft, although keep in mind, it depends on the type of airsoft you do. If you're doing hardcore style airsoft, then this might not work for you. And the only reason I say that is because of the mount, just depending on what you have it mounted to. And I'll go over that here in a minute. So let me flip the box over. The easiest thing I think right here is you can pause it if you want. Look at some of the stuff here on the box. It has some basic specifications. 1350 lumens. That's pretty dang bright. And honestly, I think it's getting a little silly getting that high on a pistol type light, but I could see if you took this type of light and mounted it to a rifle, then it makes a little bit more sense. But from a standpoint of home defense, I don't need 1350 lumens. I think it's a little bit crazy for me. But for the people that like all the lumens, it's there for you. The design itself is pretty good to go. I mean, you can see it on it here. It's pretty sleek looking. It doesn't look silly. This is your USB right here because this is rechargeable via USB connection. So I prefer battery powered lights, but this is rechargeable, and I think it has some specs on here. I'll hold up the box again here. It has the built-in lithium, and it's a Type-C charging as far as the hookup goes. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I say for home defense it'll work just fine, because out in the field, if you want to take something like this out in the field for an extended period of time and you don't have a type of charger with you, once this runs out, that's it, you're done. I'd rather have something that has batteries. I could pop the batteries out, throw new batteries in if I'm going to do any type of field work. But for at home, this is just fine. The buttons are on the side here. You can't really push in. There's a lot of lights you can push forward and activate. This doesn't have it. You have to push from the side. Hold it for a little bit and then let go, and that's momentary, and then just press it real fast, then it's constant on. So it works good on this side for your trigger finger. Home defense, if you're pulling this gun out to defend yourself, touch the light on if you're just leaving the light on, and then there you go. It does have an indicator on the back, a little light on the back. It's green for good, and it indicates if you do need to have a charge. So there is that. But I would just keep an eye on it, because lights like these, typically, they don't last the longest when you're pumping out high lumens and you're keeping them on for an extended amount of time. The mounting system here, it's like the old lights. It's pretty simple, on and off. Be careful. The reason I said earlier, it just depends on, when I was talking about airsoft and whatnot, depends on what you're mounting it to. This Taurus, it mounts okay. It's just, there's not a lot of tension on this. and I can't really adjust this too well. But on other guns, like my Kel-Tec P17, there's a lot of tension. On my Smith & Wesson SD40 VE, there's a little bit more tension. This is fine. This ain't going nowhere. But I may even want to run a Ranger band over here just to put over this and run it through so that way this stays where it's at. That might be the route that I'm going to take with this, just because this particular gun, not a whole lot of tension there. So it's going to vary depending on what type of firearm or airsoft gun or what have you. So keep that in mind. That could be a little bit of a showstopper there. If you're trying to shoot the gun and you're moving and under recoil, you bump this lever, or under movement, you bump the lever or something and then it comes off. Your light's no good to you when it's off the gun and on the ground. So overall, for about 40-50 bucks, is this light good? From what I've seen so far, yeah, it's decent. It's decent. It's better than some of the other lights I've seen out there. One thing I haven't tested yet, because I haven't done a long range test, and you have to, or a long-term durability test, is you have to be careful with these lights, because the internals, sometimes they're great, and I'm not talking about Trustfires in specific, but I'm just talking about all these budget lights. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not so great. I've had some really inexpensive lights that I just beat the heck out of, and they just run and run and run and run. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool for a $20 light. Neat. I've had some other ones that I take it to the range the first time, and within about 4 rounds, the internals seem to break open, or something, a connection snaps somewhere inside the light, and it's done. It flickers, and then it's done. So you're really kind of rolling the dice. Keep that in mind. When you're buying these really inexpensive products, keep in mind you're rolling the dice. I have it on here for now, but I'm thinking of possible, if I buy a high point in the future, something like the new JXP 10s or the JCP 40s or 45s or whatnot, the new model high points, I think this would be perfect setup for that, because it's kind of a budget-minded option, and I think with the new pick rails on the high points, they just seem to go together. I don't know. It's just in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, I kind of wish I still had a high point that I can throw this on, but I don't at the moment. So, in any case, cool little light. Is it a recommend? Yeah, sure. Are there better ones out there? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's tons better out there. Save a little bit. If you're going to spend $50 on a light, if you don't need that light, like right now, I would say wait, save up to about $100, get a stream light, and then your problems will be solved. There's tons of different models of stream lights, whether you want them for a compact gun or a full-size gun. So there's all kinds of models. If you just get a basic regular stream light TLR1, I think you're looking about an average of $100 to $120, give or take, and you have a really, really good duty grade light. So there is that. In any case, put your comments below what you think. Again, I'll just show to the camera again here real quick. Kind of a cool design. I mean, it looks solid enough. It's certainly it isn't as ridiculous looking as some of the other ones I've seen on the market, but one thing to talk real quick before I go, the bezel seems to be well constructed. I do like the bezel right here. Nice and tight. I've seen some that are loose, and they're not the greatest build, but definitely good to go. My only question on this would be the mounting system on some of the guns. All right, thanks a lot for watching as always. Stay safe.